Good. About all we can do.
What are you guys up to anyway?
I'm good.
Good. Good.
I don't know.
Chassis. I built 13 rear engine cars. And that's when I quit because I couldn't make any money. I was making a lot of money on front motor cars. And Woody and Long and me kept talking about, well, what do we do price-wise? Because there's a lot more material, a lot more hours in it, you know.
Oh, the labor.
Yeah, well, I think we added $200 to it, so I was just, you know, screw this. But I had all those parts I was doing, you know, so that helped. But during that period, I built 225 dragsters.
Yeah.
A lot of cars.
Oh.
And that was by myself, you know.
Neil Leffler, I understand, is still alive. He worked there for a while.
I can't remember.
I thought he died. He moved back.
Yeah. Same Roger lives near Lake Havasu.
Oh, I thought he had moved back to the Midwest.
So he went back to Ohio from where he was from, but then last I heard he was in Lake Havasu where Gary Cochran lives.
Next month.
75?
Yeah.
I'm 77.
Yeah,
I'll be
78
in August.
You're my
78.
How about you, Frank?
Yeah.
71.
70. Oh, you're the baby.
Yep.
So did you guys all work together at the same time there, or you all worked together?
Yeah, I was the kid that swept the floor and did the radiac and all that stuff.
I was just learning how to weld. I was trying to.
He
gas
was
on
a
it
welder.
like Bob did. God, I couldn't believe the welding that you did gas on.
See that? Yeah.
I was the guy who heated up jack shafts and handed them to Dick so he could burn his
I
hands.
told you he remembers.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that as long as I live, man. I handed it to him. He reached out real quick. I said, Dick, wait! Before I could say it, he goes like that and goes,
Oh.
I don't remember.
He doesn't remember.
I don't remember.
Oh.
God.
yeah.
Did that happen there?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, please tell me I didn't do that.
No, I did that myself.
So what year was it when you all worked together? Years?
59, 60.
Yeah.
Wow.
A guy I know up in Washington has a rear engine chassis research car from that era. Do you remember putting together a rear engine car?
Oh,
I remember.
Yeah, he's got one.
A friend of mine bought one. Never finished it, but he bought one.
Who was it? Was it Kenny Arnold that had the three-wheel?
Kenny Ellis.
Kenny Ellis. Yeah.
Kenny Ellis is gone.
That was a successful car.
Yeah.
He's gone now?
Judy and I were in Farmington, New Mexico at a street rod deal in a park. And I'm looking at this 27T tall coupe, really nice. And I'm looking in the trunk, and a lot of nice aluminum work. It looked like funny car tin in there.
Yeah.
This guy had to be somebody, and I went around front and looked at the card. It said Kenny Ellis. And just a few minutes later, he walked up and we chatted, and he was living in New Mexico then.
Uh-huh.
And then last year I heard he passed away.
Really? I didn't know he did. Yeah. That's too bad. Unless somebody requested somebody else to do it, like
Well,
Kenny Ellis.
he
or
did
something.
Rhodes, I think the Gas House Gang car.
Yeah, I think he did that.
And the Porsche Brothers car, I think he did. I remember.
What is he, metal guy?
I can't remember.
Yeah, bodybuilder.
Yeah.
He did both. He did chassis and body.
Yeah. And
He wasn't like a Tom Hanna, but he was pretty
yeah,
good.
did a nice job. But that's trying to think who else. Rhodes is trying to find that Gas House Gang car.
Oh yeah.
The theory was that he would lock the two inside axles went into a brake drum, and instead of you didn't need a clutch, what you'd do is lock that brake drum, which would lock the rear ends of the car back. Another Scotty deal.
Speaking of Scotty, it's too bad, but you know, I mean, he wasn't liked by many people, but nevertheless, he did do something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he was the first guy to
I was just telling
start
Frank.
building chassis. And when he died, nobody said a friggin' word.
No.
And he got
Well, he made a lot of enemies, you know. He made
When you were
enemies
the last guy I
NHRA.
that saw him, he
filed
said he was
stuff he wrote.
working in a camper
Yeah, he's
shop.
always fighting with them, and I suppose that's
Yeah,
why
I
it
was
was
working
never
at a
mentioned.
camper shop in Gardena when I saw him last.
I always got along with him real good.
Well, that's a funny story because I was in the road camps in the Valley.
Uh-huh.
Which meant that Perdone was in there and Ivo was in the same club. And I don't know if you remember it, but he used to think I was a spy for Kent Fuller.
Oh, okay.
I was a spy for Kent Fuller.
That's why he kept you out of the chassis, because you were in the machine shop, weren't you?
No, I was
he
in the
was
chassis.
Did you work in the chassis?
But he would get something going over there, like maybe that rear or something. And if I was going to the head, he'd throw a cover over it, you know. I mean, we come in every morning an hour or so before he did. I could have looked at anything I wanted to. But it was funny because he thought I would. And I thought, well, why didn't he just get rid of me, you know?
I'll never forget the day that he shut down the shop. He loaded up his car with his wife, him, 2 kids, and a couple monkeys, and drove right down Beach Street heading towards Centinela. I'll never forget that.
That was the end then?
That was it. That
Well,
was
you
it,
were his
yeah.
business.
I had left there and went to work for
Not at
True
the
Love
end,
Iron
he
Works.
bought back, but I never got paid.
And
He bought back.
he called me up, wanted me to come back to work.
That's like the story of your life.
So they wouldn't give you a raise, and he offered me a good raise. And so I went back there, and inside of, I don't know, 2 weeks, a month, he shut it down. It was all over. So,
Yeah, he was a strange
about
dude. His
that.
wife was scared to death. I mean, I had to talk with her one day. He wasn't there, and she told me the story. They lived in Hawaii, and they were in a trailer park. They had a thing in a trailer park, and the guy's trailer in the middle of the night next to him caught on fire, and it woke her up, and she got Scotty up and said, "Look, the guy's on fire. The trailer's on fire." And he says, "Fuck him. Let him die."
Oh, jeez.
That's just she said. That's exactly what he said. You know,
There's
he
a-
didn't like him. He didn't like anybody. But,
There was a lot to her you didn't. Did you know Reese Adams?
I don't think so.
He's a drag racer, early drag racer. And when Scotty left Slauson and moved to Inglewood, Reese Adams owned 30% of that. In fact, I ended up buying Reese's share as well. They wanted to get Reese out of there. I can't remember his wife's name right now. Anyway, she and Scotty went out to dinner. She wanted to go out to talk business stuff. And then, according to Reese now, when he took her back home, she wanted to invite him into the house. Well, he wouldn't go, but she told Scotty that Reese made advances, whether he did or not.
Oh God.
And that was the end of that. Then Reese was gone. And I bought Reese's shares. And strangely enough, we went out to dinner to discuss business stuff. And when we got back, Reese had already told me. So when we pulled back on Beach Avenue, I was opening the door of my truck to push her on the side. And that was, the problem was he was too uncompromising.
oh yeah.
You know, he wouldn't go to the races to go to the races to find out what the racers wanted, where Doug Long and the rest of those guys would, and they advanced and we didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the time,
Yeah.
it seemed to me we were shipping out about 4 a week or
Yeah.
something. 3 or 4 chassis a
There were
week.
like 45 back orders all the time.
I know I built probably 200 chassis when I was there.
Yeah.
I was there 2 years. I mean, I was going at it.
Well, I machined a lot of parts, but we don't know how many.
Yeah. I'd like to have some of those parts now.
Yeah.
They got guys looking for the steering wheels, those castles on the steering
Oh,
wheels.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Can't find them. They're worth a fortune if you find one.
Is that right?
I've got a whole bunch of stuff collected, emails and people who bought a car sent me their instruction sheets.
Yeah.
I've got that brought.
Who's the guy that does the air conditioning?
When Scotty drove down the road, I went down there.
I went back and forth several
Yeah,
times.
I saw you.
Did you work at Yelko?
Yeah, off and on, yeah.
Yeah.
You had cut a Chevrolet V8 in half
Yeah,
about that
the
time.
world's first V4.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, the guy's name was Chuck, that worked at Chassis Research. And it all started out on a $50 bet. Somehow at V4, the word V4 came up, and Chuck says V4 motor won't run. And I said, what do you mean? You can hook 2 Harleys to it. Well, that's different. So we bet $50 that a V4 motor wouldn't run. Well,
So
he
he
won,
must have cut the,
because it only cost him $50. I built the motor.
another.
Yeah, another one of my many fiascos. But
Yeah,
you
that
know
was-
what? Life's good.
Last time
Learn how to,
Well, it was fun times.
yeah.
You know, other than drag racing was really ridiculous. What, they get $260 for a chassis?
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
complaining about the price.
Yeah, I've got pages, for a K88 it was $245, for the 440 it was $290.
Yeah.
It's
How
funny
times
to
have
hear that
changed.
today.
God, what does a chassis cost today?
Yeah.
Oh,
10
yeah.
grand, 20 grand?
I paid
I think they're
14,000.
35,000 for a top fuel car, it's about 35 to
Oh, yeah.
38,000. Because there's so much in it, I mean, it's kind of a lot of stuff in it nowadays.
Explain the whole thing.
Well, chassis research and,
Chassis research. Oh, yeah. The four of us worked there in 1959, 1960. And
And then he
Goop
gave
Teller was working there at that time in the 11. And we're the last four living employees of Scotty Fenn here on the West Coast.
So there,
so there.
so there.
And Scotty Fenn was about 10 years older than you guys, and he was a crazy guy.
You'll get it good.
Say Neil Lefkover?
Yeah.
It's always up like that.
Dick worked in the machine shop.
Yeah.
Roy was a chassis welder,
I was the kid
Bob
in
was
the
the
chassis
main
shop.
welder.
and Bob was a welder. And who was the third welder you said?
Roger Wolford.
Roger Wolford was a welder.
And there's a couple other welders. One was a well-known guy whose name escapes me.
Roger Wilford.
No, not Roger. No. The thing is, it was before us, all of us got there. He worked there early.
Must Eakin over from Slauson.
No, Reese Adams came over from Slauson, but Reese was the machinist.